I'm DA.
And we thought we would do a little video to start us off where we answer some of your questions. We already answered some in a post on our website that we get a lot, but we thought we'd ask for some less common ones.
We got some really interesting and thought-provoking questions, so thank you to Natty, Evan, and Becca, as well as anybody else who's talked to us, because everybody has questions. So, without further ado,
yes,
Louisa, what are you looking forward to more? The more well-known parks like Yellowstone, or the smaller, more obscure ones?
Both for different reasons. I think mostly I'm looking forward to the smaller, less-known ones because, like, the larger ones you know a lot about, and there are, like, iconic photographs of them, and, like, mostly everyone has seen, like, a picture of the Grand Canyon. But on the other hand, I am also looking forward to going to the really big iconic ones, because, like, most of what I know about the history of national parks, which is not a whole lot, is about the big iconic ones, you know, like, is about the founding of Yellowstone, and, like, that whole movement.
And the super volcano under Yellowstone.
Yeah, that too, but that we figured out a little later. So both for different reasons. I probably skew a little bit more towards the smaller ones.
I think I skew towards the bigger ones because I've seen so many huge things in other countries, like the Colosseum and the Leaning Tower of Pisa and the I just said Yellowstone.
You did, but you have not seen Yellowstone.
I have not seen Yellowstone. I've not seen the Grand Canyon. I have seen Stonehenge.
Hey.
I haven't seen Redwoods. So I'm excited to hit the big ones. But I mean the small ones too, obviously. Otherwise we wouldn't. We're doing all of them for a reason. If we wanted to just do the big ones, we would just do the big ones.
Yeah. And sort of the whole point of this even was to get ourselves better acquainted with our own country, because both of us have done pretty significant amount of traveling outside of the U.S., but not so much within the U.S. I think I've only been to, like, 18 states, and some of those I've driven through.
I've only been west of Texas once.
Yeah, so we're hoping that by going around our country we'll get to know it a little more, get to know its big name places a little more, as well as getting more of an idea of small town America, because we don't really...
We're gonna eat at diners.
Stop a whole lot in small towns otherwise.
Gonna eat at diners run by mom and dad.
Yes.
Or ma and pa, I guess.
Mom and pop.
Anyway.
Either way.
Alright. Next question. Anything in particular you're hoping to learn while on the trip?
I am a huge history nerd, so I'm probably mostly looking forward to learning more about the history of the national parks. It's something that I've, like, meant to read about many times for a long time, and that's true of most things I'm interested in, is that I want to read about them, and I haven't. So this will give me a reason to, and so I'm looking forward to learning more about the founding of each park and their history and the environmental history.
I used to work at, for those of you from Northern Illinois, I used to work at the Morton Arboretum, and I taught, like, summer camps and would go on hikes with kids and teach them about trees, and there's, like, a song about identifying oak trees with arm motions. But aside from those little tidbits of knowledge, I don't know that much about trees and plants and animals and nature. And so I'm excited because all the parks are in such different locations. I've never even been to a desert. I'm going to learn about animals in the desert. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you have any particular expectations for the trip about anything?
I'm going to get mad at you.
Yes, I'm going to get mad at you too. I also expect both of us to cry at some point.
I cried this morning.
Hopefully not at the same time, because that'll be trouble. But I tend to, if someone else is upset, I tend to, like, take charge, sort of, and, like, fix the situation, or at least, like, get us through it. So if someone else is crying, I'm actually more likely to not get upset than to get upset. So hopefully that won't happen at the same time at all, but who knows.
But we've known each other forever. For those of you who don't really know us, we went to elementary school together.
18 years?
So the majority of our lives we've known each other, and we're different personality types. We listen to different stuff. We're going to be in the car for, sometimes 12 hours in a day.
Yeah.
That's a big expectation of mine, is we're going to maybe the person in the passenger seat will put on headphones.
Yeah, man. Other particular expectations. I had another one, and I have now lost it. Oh, I expect things to go wrong. I expect things to go wrong mechanically, with the car, with the equipment, with anything like that.
Not with the car.
Hopefully not, but, something's going to go wrong. At some point we may have to change a tire. I also expect things to go wrong as far as like our very carefully laid out plan. We have already changed the schedule once, and I expect that we will change it many, many, many more times.
We were supposed to leave like 5 hours ago.
Yeah, so we're just gonna keep an open mind and keep that flexible. So yeah, and I also expect us, on a more positive note, I expect us to deal with all of that and to learn and grow as people and to get through anything that we have to.
I expect trail magic. This is something that I've read about. I've read a lot about the Appalachian Trail and hiking that, and there's places along the trail where random people will show up and give you like a meal and cold water and wish you luck. And I'm not expecting for random free food from strangers, but I am thinking that we might meet people at parks who've had different experiences or who can tell us like a secret trail that nobody knows about where we can shoot some really great video. And I'm expecting to have positive encounters with sort of random
Strangers.
people who
kindness
like
of strangers.
people who like national parks.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think this experience will change you as a person, and how?
I'm hoping to reduce my dependence on instant gratification. I come from a world of Amazon 2-day shipping. I come from a world of never being more than 5 minutes away from the internet. I come from a world of flush toilets. And
It's gonna be a big one.
I think going on the road and going to see all these different parks is going to reduce my dependency on that.
I think it will certainly teach me a lot as far as like, you know, expanding knowledge for sure, because I'll learn more about the parks and about like practical things about being outdoors. I was not an outdoorsy person as a child at all.
I've camped maybe twice.
I never went camping as a child. My family never camped. My parents don't like camping. And I was more likely to be reading inside, or drawing, or building things out of paper, or Legos.
For me, it was playing Game Boy, but yeah.
Yeah.
Not a big camper as a kid.
I was not a big outdoorsy person, and I've only really like gotten more into that in the past couple of years. I've been on one like legitimate camping trip, I think, ever, and that was last summer with my sister. Hi, Lauren. And so I expect to learn a lot practically about being outdoors and about just appreciating being in nature. Because, like, I love the idea of it a lot, and I think most of the time I love the idea of it better than the actual experience. So we'll see how that goes.
We're going to appreciate the small things.
Yes.
It's going to be
Yes, we
awesome.
are. Okay, so those are probably the more, like, long answer, thought-provoking questions.
Ooh, do we get to do rapid
and now,
fire?
Yes, now we have our rapid-fire questions. So,
Come
really
at me.
quick, what kind of car are you using?
A hybrid Escape that used to belong to my mom. Can friends join in on different legs?
Yes! Very much so. What do you think you'll miss most about being home?
Flush toilets, the internet, air conditioning. Will you camp at every park?
No! A lot of parks actually are small enough that they don't have campsites, and also not a lot of the time, but sometimes we will be staying with friends that are close enough to the parks that we can go there just for days. Are you going to attempt cooking over an open fire at some point? Yes.
Is there any park in specific you're looking forward to?
I really love the idea of going to Acadia because I have never been to that region at all. It's up in Maine, for anyone who doesn't know. I've never been on, like, cold, salty seashores. So I'm looking forward to cold, salty seashores. I'm also very much looking forward to Voyageur and Ile Royale in Minnesota. I just said one of those with a French accent and one of them without. Can you guess which? And I'm especially looking forward to going up there and being in the Northwoods because it means otters, and I really like otters.
Shout out to Aunt Eileen, who, when we mentioned national parks, said, "Oh, you can go sledding on the sand dunes in Sand Dunes National Park." Yes, I will be doing that.
I'm also looking forward to going to any desert parks because I literally have never been in a desert in my life.
I've been to a beach. Does that count?
No, that's a little too much on the waterfront.
Never been to a desert either.
What's left? Oh, what is the longest drive and what is the shortest?
19 hours and 25 minutes.
Yes, and that's driving time, so 19 hours is, probably going to be more like 24.
Don't worry, Mom. I'm not going to do it all in one shot by myself. We're going to take breaks. We're going
No,
to
man.
stop and camp or motel or hotel
Yeah.
along the way.
The shortest one is Utah Park.
The ones in Florida are real close.
The ones in
Biscayne
Florida are
and
too.
Everglades are about 20.
Biscayne and Everglades are right next to each other, and there's a cluster in Utah. Yeah, and like Shenandoah and Great Smoky sort of run into each other, but driving from point to point is going to be a little longer than that. Okay, so those are your lovely questions. Thank you for them.
Here's our shameless self-promotion. If
Yes.
you are interested in seeing more of our on-camera awkwardness, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Otherwise, you can go to greatamericanparkstrip.com and you can
There'll be a
subscribe
link
to our
down
blog,
there.
which will send you emails every time we post. And we're not going to post every 30 seconds. We're just going to do blogs for each park, and then we will post on that website when we do a new video. So if you don't want to navigate YouTube, just go ahead and sign up for email notifications for our blog. And
Yes.
please tell your friends and family, because we want to get the word out, because we think this is awesome, and we hope you do too.
So we will see you, at least virtually, on the road.
Guess we gotta go.